Hello and welcome. In this video I want to do something other than the usual plant spotting for edible wild greens. In fact, I'm going to do a series of modules on habitats and environments and how they affect your foraging game plan throughout the year. In fact, this is actually an adjunct to plant identification and should help you be more positively successful in your foraging. With that, let's get on.
Woodland is not always the best place to forage, even though fungi are frequently to be found on dead and rotting tree material. On clays and sandy soils you tend to get oaks, with birch on wet clay and soils, while calcareous soils favour beech. However, you'll always find anomalies in nature. In the case of deciduous woodland, there is usually a good deal of organic matter that rots down, but not always. While oak leaves decay quite quickly once they have fallen, beech leaves are slow to decay and can form an impenetrable ground layer that plants find hard to get a foothold in. That is why, apart from the gathering of beech masts in autumn, beech woodland isn't a particularly productive environment for the forager. In the case of coniferous woodland, the soil can become so acid that it is almost sterile. Frequently, just ferns and a few brambles can exist in this environment. The coniferous woodland seen here was cleared over 2 years ago, yet plants are struggling to get a foothold, despite the high levels of light. Indeed, the density of trees in woodland affects the plants at the lower levels. Often the size of the ground plants growing low down is reduced, and they are not as vigorous as those growing in good light conditions, and even seeding may be disrupted. In the case of dense beech woodland, the ground flora can almost be absent because of the lack of light and impenetrable leaf canopy. You can see from this short avenue of beech trees how beech affects the ground cover. The canopy in oak woodland is much more open, and light is able to reach the ground, allowing for a more rich and diverse flora that it may be possible to forage. Dense woodland is always moist and dark, and generally tends to be colder than open meadows and fields. So in the heat of the summer, the edges of woodland, where there is more light, are often good places to find forageable greens compared to grassland scorched by the sun. And in the winter, when frosts are hitting the open fields, woodland affords some protection, and in the absence of leaf cover in deciduous woodland, you may sometimes find useful forageable greens in sheltered nooks and crannies. Even though woodland can have its drawbacks as a foraging habitat, those drawbacks can, as you've seen, be turned to advantage at certain times of year.